in Pennsylvania. Back home now, and with a means test on the childcare rebate again on the agenda, a localised survey has come along showing that parents might be prepared to pay higher fees for better quality childcare. The survey was conducted by Labor MP Andrew Leigh in his Canberra electorate. Andrew Leigh is a former professor of economics, which gives the survey a little more traction. The member for Fraser is in our Canberra studios this morning, and joining me at the desk is Christine Legg, Chief Executive of KU Children's Services, and she's also with Early Childhood Australia. Mr. Leigh and Ms. Legg, thank you very much for joining us in the studio this morning. Mr. Leigh, firstly, what are some of the more interesting results you found in your survey?
Well, Ron, one of the things that came out of the survey was that many parents aren't taking advantage of the new opportunities to claim the childcare rebate either fortnightly or paid directly to the centre. I was really struck that there's quite a high share of parents who are getting the rebate annually or quarterly. That might work best for them, but it was important for me to know about that to communicate with the electorate as well. And there's also 100,000 parents across Australia that aren't claiming the childcare rebate at all. We've increased it from 30% to 50%, and we really need to make sure that everyone knows about the opportunity to claim half their childcare costs back.
Now, the interesting thing that I found reading the survey that you posted on your website is that parents might be prepared to pay a little more if the quality of the childcare improved.
Yes, that's right. And so I was interested to ask parents about if you could reduce the turnover of carers, and if you could improve the quality of carers, would you be willing to pay more? And a little over half the respondents said yes, 45% said no, and was also interested to read people's comments. Some who said they'd be willing to pay a lot more for less turnover, others who said that they were really struggling to make ends meet and that they weren't willing to pay more for their care.
Christine, you're kind of at the coalface of all of this.
Yes.
You're not in Canberra, you're with the childcare centres.
Yep.
I'm a little surprised because parents are always saying how much childcare is costing and the struggles they have to pay for it. Would some parents be prepared to pay more?
I do think some would be, but I do think affordability is a huge issue for many families, particularly those middle-income families. I gathered from that survey that was mostly upper-income families who said they would do that. It presents some dilemmas for families. I mean, I think lots of families have to do their sums and work out, is it worthwhile one parent going back to work, particularly the mother, when affordability is such an issue. In KU Children's Services, our fees are more expensive generally than the rest of the market because we employ early childhood qualified teachers. And teachers'
And your
cost...
positions are full?
Look, they vary. We have, different vacancy rates over different areas. Depends on the demand. The demand in the inner city is still for young babies, not for older children. But we certainly see in the outer areas of Sydney where affordability is a huge issue. That's where we have vacancies.
Andrew, it might come at an opportune time, this two-speed affordability issue where some people can afford, some people can't. If you're talking about a possible means test, would this fit that scenario quite well?
Well, I think, first of all, Ron, the point that Christine makes is a really important one, that there are different experiences of childcare. I've got 2 young boys, and so I'm in their daycare centre pretty frequently, but then I visit other daycare centres, and you get a sense that this is there's a huge amount of variety. I certainly think that we haven't means tested the childcare rebate for a good reason, which is that we want to encourage secondary earners to re-enter the labour market, and that making sure that everyone gets to access that 50% childcare rebate.
Yeah, but politically that would be a nightmare to introduce a means test on that rebate anyway, wouldn't it?
And the reason we've done it, Ron, is because you can have a low-wage spouse married to a high-wage primary earner, and the high-wage primary earner effectively pushes the other spouse out of the labour market. That's the reason why we've put means tests on other things, but not on the childcare rebate.
Would a means Christine, would a means test make sense or not?
No, not for us as a service provider. What we would like the government to do is to recognise that we have a staffing shortage at the moment in early childhood education, and we'd really like them to fund teachers.
All right, well, we see that fees increased by an average of about 11% last year. Just very quickly, how do we keep a cap on those fee increases?
Look, it's really hard. 80% of our costs are our staffing costs.
Yeah.
So we invest in our staff. Staff are crucial to offering a quality program.
Andrew?
Well, I think the sector's going through a real transformation at the moment, Ron. Kate Ellis, the Minister, has as a top priority raising the education bar on early childhood teachers. This isn't babysitting, this is early childhood education, and we need to recognise that improving that quality of care just can transform someone's life if they're getting great quality care early on. So making sure we have the quality and the affordability, it's a juggling act, but I think Kate Ellis is doing it well.
I see Christine actually nodding through most of what you're saying, so apparently there's some agreement there.
Absolutely.
Christine Legg and Andrew Lee, our MP from Canberra, thank you both very much for coming in today. I appreciate it.
Thanks,
Thank
Ron.
you.
Thanks, Christine.